We have an agenda, at least I see yours. Welcome tonight to the April 9th Lapel Town Planning Advisory Commission. Can we please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Commission President Wood, absent. Commission Vice President Baldwin,
Here.
Commission Member Hutchison, absent. Commission Member Mays,
Yeah, here.
Commission Member Pressler,
Here.
Commission Member West,
Present.
Commission Member Worthman.
Here.
Okay, I believe we have a quorum. First item, the adoption of the minutes. These are from, if everyone's had a chance to look at them, I know we got them sent to us.
Yeah.
March 12th, 2026 meeting. Do we have an approval? Do we have any changes, updates that need to be made?
I would make it a motion to approve March 12th, 2026 minutes as they stand.
Have a second? I'll second.
Commission Member Baldwin,
Yes.
Commission Member Mays,
Yes.
Commission Member Pressler,
Yes.
Commission Member West,
Yes.
Commission Member Worthman.
Yes.
Okay. Agenda considerations. Do we have any? Okay, we'll move on. Any public comments out there? Old business, none. New business, none. And now we are going to listen to the Plan Commission discussion that Marcellus has for us, the report about the ongoing planning matters.
Yes. So I believe last month, in the report, I included two plats. Both of those plats have been approved and signed. Plat 2026-03 has been recorded, and Plat 2026-02 has not yet been recorded, but it has been picked up from the office, and they're in the process of getting that handled. There are no BZA case updates. There are no other development updates. And then as far as administrative matters goes, last time I presented on a bunch of legislative matters coming out of House Bill 1001. Since then, the American Planning Association's Indiana chapter provided a summary of other bills that were passed in 2026 that have been passed so far this year that will be going into effect mostly July 1st of this year that also relate to planning and zoning. So in addition to the stuff we talked about last time, there is now a bill that will require all local government units to allow by right in their commercial districts a retail sporting goods store. And there's a definition for what that means that we will also include in our UDO. And it also requires that a indoor shooting range be permitted by right in commercial, industrial, and agricultural zoning districts. And then there are definitions and standards with that as well that we are allowed to include. That's the first one. The second bill, House Enrolled Act 1161, changes the rules around Plan Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals appointments. These changes shouldn't affect us in this situation. They simply allow, what this does is it changes it so that appointees serve at the pleasure of the person or body that appointed them, and can be removed without cause by that person or body. In the case of like a person who was appointed by the full town council, the whole town council has to be the same town council that appointed them for that to apply. You know, if like, for example, Andrea can't be swapped out without cause because the town council that appointed Andrea doesn't exist anymore. There's new members on the board, on the town council. So the existing provisions around being removed with cause would still apply, but not without cause. And then in that summary, it also includes all the stuff that I mentioned last time with Bill 1011 or 1001. And I think those were, yeah, that was all of the, oh, one more. House Enrolled Act 1210. Also doesn't really affect us so much, but this bill prevents local units from passing any sort of legislation that would prohibit a privately owned residential property from being used as a rental, except in the case of short-term rental. So yeah, that measure is very clearly intended to invalidate ordinances and that have been adopted recently to limit the construction of for rent single-family homes. And so this bill just says that you can't do that anymore. But we can still regulate short-term rentals. So Airbnbs, you can still regulate, but you can't regulate, you know, build to rent, or a person buying a house and then deciding they want to rent it out. And so that's all of the additional planning and zoning matters that came out of this most recent legislative session. I'm in the process of drafting the language that will need to be adopted into our UDO to meet SEA 179 and HEA 1161. And so that will, those text amendments will have to come to Plan Commission. We'll have a public hearing, and so that will come in the next couple of months. And that's all for the planning department report.
Okay.
Hey, Andrea,
Sure.
before we move on, can I just raise a concern? I met with Marcellus to try to just get a handle around that, some questions I had on that legislation. And we were talking about the UDO, because I know last meeting the council suggested that I mentioned that we maybe look at the hire a staff planner. That's probably not gonna happen in time for us to get the UDO around housing developments reviewed. And I talked to Marcellus and he really expressed that he doesn't think he'll have the bandwidth to get it done in time either. Because really at this point, we would probably have to have something ready by May if we were gonna make changes. So I just wanted to make the recommendation that we consider forming a subcommittee to meet weekly or every 2 weeks to review segments of the UDO to make sure that it meets what we're willing to accept, so that and we are able to submit any changes in time, So that come July 1st, when that new law takes effect, we're not stuck with something we wish we would have changed. But just a
Would
thought.
you be there as well to
Yeah.
help us?
Correct me if I'm wrong, this has to be done by July 1st,
Yes.
It
right?
Yes.
has to be passed
Have.
through the
Right.
council, all the ordinance
Everything.
changes or
So
whatever.
we're running out of time.
Yeah,
Well-
so,
It's, the way I understand it, it's not that it has to be passed, but it is, but these new standards are going to become effective at that time. And, particularly around the stuff where, they're making changes to, what you are and aren't allowed to deny. That's where that becomes an issue. If somebody
Right.
happens to submit something while we're
Right.
still trying to get this together,
We'd have to
we have to honor.
honor
Right,
it. Okay.
which is a
Yes.
concern.
yeah. it
Considering
really,
the
I think-
past applications, we want to make
Yeah.
sure everything's in place to protect that.
And it would need to be signed, sealed, and delivered by June 30th, because the new law takes effect July
July
1st. William, what is help me out, what's the process with that, like, the timeline to present? We'd have, how long do we have to notify in the paper, right?
We have to notify, I don't know if the notice requirement is different for UDO changes than it is anything else.
So for UDO changes, the public hearing for a UDO change, if I recall correctly, the notice requirement is the same as.
15 days.
It's,
I'm
in our,
fairly certain as well that it is the same.
yeah,
Let me.
Okay.
in our ordinance, it's 10 days is what we require. The state, if I recall correctly, requires the standard notice requirement for a regular public meeting, so it would be that 48 hours before. So the town of Lapel requires a larger window than I think the state does.
Does it require multiple readings?
No, so it would be a public, you have, the notice to the public, and then you have the public hearing at the plan commission meeting. The plan commission would vote, provide their recommendation on whether or not to adopt the amendments, and then it would go to town council to then adopt the amendment.
Okay,
So
so
you have
we,
to have it done by June.
yeah, so we would have to have the
June 11th.
well, if we had the changes to bring to the planning commission in May, then at that point, we could have the changes written and noticed for the public hearing for the June planning commission meeting. And then if they voted and passed, we could take them to the June council meeting, right?
There might be,
Your filing deadline's May 4th, public hearing notice deadline's June 1st, your planning commission meeting's June 11th, town council meeting June 18th and July 16th.
Okay, so we have to have them done by May 1st.
the filing deadline is,
I'm reading that right,
I'm
right?
on the beach.
the filing deadline is more
Yeah.
for applicants who are submitting applications to me, but
changes.
then I need to, like review it, make sure it's
Yeah.
complete, all that kind of stuff.
So what's,
For something like this, because I'm the one who's preparing it, as long as I have it done before we need to post notice, that's the deadline.
So do you feel like there's a lot that needs to be updated regarding,
The housing,
So if we're talking about that housing public hearing, I'm in the process of auditing the other town I work for's UDO, and not finding a lot of things that they need to change. I anticipate something pretty similar for here. I do know that there are some things that will need to talk about. I know the architectural standards.
yeah,
well, I think we're talking about two different things. You're talking about the public hearing that has
Right.
to happen by the end of the year.
As far as other updates outside of that to our ordinance, I have identified a list of things. Some of them I've already brought to Plan Commission that I think should be updated. As far as processes and procedures go, I think I think the language on a lot of them maybe could be tightened up just for clarity's sake, but I think the process itself is sound. So I think there's a good number of things, but I don't think it's like a huge.
Well, and I don't think we're talking about reviewing the whole UDO. I think the concern, at least that I have, is specifically around like plan development, housing development, because we've had, for example, recently, we've had something brought to us that we didn't particularly like the way it was presented, even with changes.
Mhm.
So that tells me that it's not representing what we want. So the question becomes, does our UDO mirror what we really want? Because if it doesn't, we're gonna get stuck with whatever it is.
Mhm.
And we won't be able to say
For 5
no.
years.
For 5 years.
Yeah.
That's only, the 5-year thing is only for fee changes.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Well,
Yes, so we can
okay.
change our UDO at
Anytime,
Well,
anytime.
wait a
We can start doing the comprehensive plan today if we wanted
I
to.
thought it was 18, am I, and I'm wrong, it's at least 18 months, right? That you have to honor anything.
It's, so yes, so if you change your UDO,
But we haven't.
you have to honor, if an application was submitted before you made those changes, you have to honor the previous version that the application was submitted under. And that's always been the case. It's just that the window has gotten longer with this new legislation. So that's the concern. That's why you might want to be quicker than slower about this, but there's not a hard and fast deadline that we like have to meet before we're like locked in. It's just a concern of,
Making sure.
it's just a concern of once that law becomes effective, and we now have to respect this longer time frame around which we have to abide by old standards if we update our standards, that becomes a risk of what if somebody submits something and now we're having to evaluate them under standards we didn't really like.
Does it make sense if let's say we've been shooting for July, could we knock out, let's say, 15, 20 minutes of UDO stuff, each planning commission leading up to it? Like basically, I mean, instead of, kind of forming a subcommittee or something like
We
that,
don't
could the
have
full planning commission, could we hear it?
We've
Or
only,
could we talk about it?
Yeah, but didn't you just say,
we've only got like 2 weeks.
but didn't you just say
Well, yeah, we
that's
don't have to
not
have it.
in writing?
Yeah.
Or it's not,
Here's the thing that I'm concerned about, I'm just be real honest. The application that came in here the last time, tell me if I'm wrong, it met all the technical requirements, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we turned it down twice
Mhm.
because we didn't want it. We didn't want it the way that it was, but it technically met the requirements. We don't get those requirements changed before July 1st to reflect what we really want. It will be here the minute it's eligible
have to
and it
honor
will be passed
Yeah.
and there will be nothing anybody can say.
oh, I
about
know
it.
that. That's
So-
what it's usually state law. If they meet everything,
Yeah.
usually you gotta pass it.
So that's what I'm saying, like, obviously, the requirements that we have don't reflect what we want. So it seems like it makes sense to take that small chunk and review it and address come to the planning commission in May and say, these are the things we noticed that have come up in the past as concerns. Do we want to discuss these and hash out if we want to change them? That's all I was saying. I mean, if you don't think we need to do it, if you're,
I'm gonna trust more also what Marcellus knows.
I agree with that.
So
As-
I think to Christie's point,
Making sure we're
it would be a good idea
on the right
to,
path. I like yours, but we don't have enough time.
yeah, I think it would make sense to, you maybe not attempt to go through the entire UDO,
Right.
but maybe there's sections you can focus on, like to Christie's point. Maybe we can focus on the PUD standards. Maybe we can focus on the residential district standards.
Yeah, could we use the most recent, and I can't remember if you were here for the one across the high school, weren't you? Okay, yeah, and I couldn't remember timing one, yeah, that's right. using that as a template, because we went through all of that stuff. And I mean, we went through like brick facade and lighting and trees and basically brought up all of our concerns.
Ins and outs, because ambulances.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was
yeah.
getting at,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And just kind of
We've
use it as a
done that
template.
long before.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
only talking
First time.
chapters, not the entire
Yeah, no,
thing.
yeah,
That's why I was saying, and then we could make a list of,
Mhm.
these are things that were concerning, and then come back to the planning meeting in May and say, these are the things we're concerned about. If you agree to make these changes, we have a certain amount of time to get them prepared and get a public hearing ready for June. That was only look,
Yeah, because
I
before
get
the
it,
one you guys seen,
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
2 times before that out there.
And I don't even
With
know,
cold.
how many, exactly.
Yeah,
And I
so-
don't even know how many pages it is, or how much it is to even look at. Maybe not more than one meeting is required, I don't know, I mean,
do you have bullet points? Do you have stuff that we could, already start to?
I
I
don't
mean-
think, he did, and he presented, I think you were gone.
Like,
that
if you
meeting.
could, I mean,
I probably have.
if you go back and I can I can also just send it out. I can send out the staff report I had prepared,
Mhm.
for that, and in it has,
This has,
a section where it has, this is what their standard is, this is how it's
Probably when I
different from
had-
our
when I had
standard.
my
or from
surgery or-
the standard in the
Yeah.
base zoning. And here are the, like, implications of that difference.
And we're protected in a sense of, let's take the last one, for example, they didn't meet, there were a few of our requirements that they didn't meet that we gave them variances for.
So,
Correct.
yeah, so in the staff report, well, I think my recommendation in the staff report had been that they get a favorable recommendation with they had a list
Yeah.
of,
We're not gonna take the lighting, that you don't have this lighting here, we didn't, and there were some trees, and there was the brick facade that they were supposed to have, that we basically did away. Does that, with this new, going into effect in July, when we present that and we say, no, you have to have a street post light at every single blah, 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 what is, if they basically, do they have to meet that in order for us to approve it? It's basically, we can tell them, hey, they have to do this, you have to have the correct lighting, and then we can just deny it if they don't have the correct lighting, correct?
that's my understanding.
Okay,
so
yeah,
is it not, and I'm not just playing devil's advocate here, I was under the impression it was kind of a negotiation. But at the end of the day, like, let's just take the last one that came in. At the end of the day, they came back twice, we said, no, we're not, we just don't want it. If they came back a third time and said, we don't want any variances, we're gonna do exactly what's in here, it doesn't matter if we
Right.
want it or not,
Right.
we're getting it.
they would get it, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
if they come in here and they say, no, we will meet every single one of your requirements, our hands are tied, it's like, yeah, we've got to approve it. So does it make sense to make the standards, I don't want to say make them higher, because I don't want to discourage, that's not it at all, but does it make sense to have some standards in there where it's like, we say, these are unbreakable, we're not gonna, and I say that, obviously we can make an exception, but there's some things in there where it's like, ooh, we're pretty hard on these, we want 20 feet in between homes, we don't want homes 6 feet away from, is there some things we could put in there that would give us some, I don't want to say leverage, but something in there that helps with that. Because I can remember, I mean, and going through all of that, we were pretty strict. I mean, they came back multiple times, like you're saying, they came back
Yeah.
multiple times with multiple proposals to try to get something to work. And when it came down to it, I mean, the community didn't want it. I mean, there was, they didn't want it, which is why the vote went the way it was.
See,
But-
yeah.
But House Bill 1001 is very, very specific, like allowing 2 to 4 structures in a single family dwelling.
Mhm.
It's also, allowing the construction of ADUs, manufactured modular homes, like it specifically lists it out. So in essence of time, correct me if I'm wrong, we definitely need to focus on those things that is introduced into the bill.
Well, those things that you're listing are the subject matter of the public hearing that we have to have.
Right, exactly.
And so, there's kind of two ways we can go about this. If we want to make sure that we have, sort of most important standards, the key standards that we want to
Mhm.
revise, we want to make sure that we have those ready, for when these requirements
July
become
1.
effective. Then we can do that first, and then we can have the UDO hearing at a later
Yes.
date.
Because even though we do something now to make sure we lock that in by the 1st, we still
have to do
can
that.
go
Exactly.
Yes.
and,
Yeah.
okay.
Or we can handle all of the legislative changes that we want to do together in
Mhm.
one. It would probably be a really long public hearing, so it would probably be continued to multiple meetings, but we could do that all at once. It would just mean most likely that whatever perhaps critical changes that we want to make, we're making later and are opening that risk window.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I want to make sure I understand this. The public hearing that we have to have by the end of the year doesn't necessarily mean we have to change anything.
Right.
They just want us to have a public hearing so that we can
Exactly.
hear exactly how far our community is willing to go
Yes.
And
to,
concerned.
to reverse some of the, or change some of the ordinances to allow less expensive housing
Mhm.
and maybe some alternative kinds of housing.
Right.
But if the community doesn't show interest in that and the decision is made not to change anything, we're not required to change anything, right?
Right. That's my understanding.
But with regard to this here, the impact takes place July 1st in the sense that if the, whatever it is on June 30th, anybody that applies July 1st and forward, if they meet that criteria, then it doesn't, we keep, it doesn't even matter. Like everybody in town could show up and it doesn't matter.
Nothing we can do.
And
Yeah.
we don't want to be seen as not
No.
wanting to encourage
No.
development. We
Proactive.
just
Oh, yeah.
want to have the right development.
Yeah, and
Yes.
does this, and sorry, just one more question. Does this law apply to rezoning? So if a housing development wants to go into agriculture, we don't have to approve that zoning change,
Right.
correct? Okay,
Yeah. So that rule or that rule, and I mean, it is really a restating of a principle that is just like kind of a part of planning. It's always kind of been the case that if they meet all the standards, you kind of always were supposed to approve. But yes, this applies basically to all, my understanding of it was that it applies to all planning application types. So rezoning, PUDs, variances, all of it. I think, that the language in there does, it doesn't say that, it doesn't only say that it has to meet like strictly, or that the requirements that it has to meet are necessarily strictly written down. For example, one of the criteria for a rezoning decision is, does this like serve the intent and the vision of the comprehensive plan? And if you and town council don't think it does, then they didn't meet that standard, and it's valid to deny that rezoning. At least that's how I'm understanding it.
Yeah.
But when you look that our comprehensive plan needs to be redone as
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
you're sort of put in a,
Yeah, and one of the things that they mentioned in the law is they want you to become more lenient
Mhm.
with
With your-
rezoning
yeah.
if the purpose of the rezone is to create housing. So it's kind of like,
they're one,
the way the feeling I got from it was, we're, especially because now we have to report annually how much
Mhm.
housing we've created.
Yeah.
We're giving you a chance to do it on your own, folks. Don't make us come do it for you. Good, thanks. Oh, it's okay.
So what do you suggest? That we should form the subcommittee?
What should we do?
Yeah, I mean,
What do we
should
do?
we form this committee, or do you feel like you have it, that then you can bring it to us?
I think it would be a good idea to form
Okay.
the subcommittees. And that way, if there's, a subject matter that any of you all are particularly interested in, we can have a subcommittee that's focused on that issue. You guys can.
Have a sub, and whoever wants to come that day, I mean, I would look at it that way as well.
Can we do that?
It
It doesn't
is-
have to
yeah.
be a specific
Person,
people, like me
yeah.
and
It could-
you and me,
right,
okay.
yeah. To where we have, we can't have a quorum, you're right, or can we? Because
not
we're
voting on
discussing,
anything.
we're not
So long as-
voting.
so
If we're
long
not
as you-
voting,
It's just an
Yeah.
advisory board.
Yeah, so long as it stays strictly advisory, you guys
Right.
don't come up
And
with any,
reading
like-
and trying to
Right.
come up with
Exactly.
things,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so no
Yeah.
in favor. Gonna be, keep that.
And that's what I did like, I wish we had more time, because that's how we went through the
Well, as a
comprehensive
workshop?
plan.
We could do
Like
it
a
as a workshop
workshop.
if anybody wants to do that. We could do
Yeah,
it
to where we're not
a Saturday
going
or
out there
I hate to
saying,
say that because I feel like,
But
I feel like
Sorry, I missed that. What were you saying?
we were talking about like, or just do a
Like a-
workshop
yeah.
and workshop it and you know, here's the thing, like if you did a workshop, you could maybe do it in 3 hours. If you had 6 people there and
Mhm.
you split it up into thirds, everybody read their portion, make notes, come back, bring your concern, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, just a thought. It may be quicker to do that, or even if you did a subcommittee, do one long meeting, everybody assign a certain segment, read it, come to the meeting and discuss. I don't know, it's just a thought.
But you said
We gotta
May
get it done
1st.
quick, so.
It's my birthday, I'm not coming.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right answer necessarily.
I don't think there is, because we've
Yeah, we
sorta,
can just try.
the window's sort of closing.
Yeah,
We don't have to get it done quick, but again, it's that risk. And I mean,
Mhm.
so
So why don't we just?
I'm trying to think
Housing.
I'm trying to think
Just
when the
enforce.
PUD was. I wanna say it was,
You're trying to think what?
I'm trying to think when that last PUD application was denied, because they have a year before they are
Yeah,
allowed
they
to.
can come back in a year.
Yeah, let me look through my old
I didn't. think-
notes.
I don't-
think it'd be a
I don't think
very
they
long
do.
I
meeting.
had
Did you bring your big binder?
I didn't
I
bring
didn't
mine
bring my
either.
big binder. This-
I didn't either, I thought it was gonna be a freaking
I
easy.
personally like the idea of subcommittees because like he was saying, if there's one particular thing that's like your pet peeve and you wanna work on it,
Mhm.
you get a couple people together, work on it, bring something.
We can-
Yeah.
Do what?
So, we're just talking about the math of like when it has to be done. So it sounds like we are all in agreement that there will be a public notice 10 days prior to our meeting next month that says there will be this public hearing on it. So of course, I mean, you can still work if we do a subcommittee, if we just break it up individually and you guys each have a section, however we do it, you guys still have those days to still make your notes and have your recommendations prior to that, public hearing.
So what's that date? When's the,
May 7th is our next planning.
Are we, so, yeah, so are we trying
Wow.
to get this recommendation passed next time and then have it go to June?
Or try to
town
go
council?
to
Or we
June.
try to have this one at June, and the only problem with that is I have to double check on this, but there might be a required length of time for which a plan commission recommendation has to be on file with the public before town council can
yeah,
do
like
anything with
a
it.
remonstrance period?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so so a week might not work.
Well, if we're do the public hearing in May with the intention of doing at the council meeting in June, that's 5 weeks, right?
Yeah,
We only need one public hearing at the planning commission, is that right?
Yeah.
So if we were able to pull together a public hearing by the next May meeting. And that's assuming there's even changes. We may go through it and find out there's no changes. But if there, so when would we have to, well, I guess noticing wouldn't really,
Like April
you wouldn't have to have it
27th.
ready for the notice.
Right, it doesn't have to be prepared in advance of the notice for you to put the notice out. You can intend, I mean, if we really felt like procrastinating, not recommended. You could wait till the night before the meeting for,
To have the document ready.
yeah, to start your first look at it.
So how long, when do you have to have changes in order to prepare it in whatever format it needs to be in?
I mean, usually, so when we did the flood hazard, changes, I just had those kind of prepared in a set of documents. It was just the text of kind of what we wanted to say, but it wasn't like formatted in the way that the ordinance necessarily was. It wasn't like slotted in with the ordinance or anything like that. So, I mean, that document gets prepared sort of as a exhibit that gets attached to the like actual adoption ordinance that the town council would pass that says like, we're adopting this exhibit into our UDO.
I see, okay. So the ordinance is adopting this exhibit. So how long would it take you to prepare the exhibit?
I mean, that would depend on exactly
What we changed.
what we're
you
changing.
included in the
If the bulk of what we're doing is like changing this number to this number, that's easy. If the bulk of what we're doing is like, we need to write new stuff, that might take longer.
Depends.
And
The worst case scenario.
I know, I'm trying to estimate this out as well. I mean, we're in the second week of April, and so that gives us about 3 weeks. Well, the full month, but
Maybe.
it's just, yeah, it's hard to say, because I think with the change, like, for example, the changes I already have, or the things that I've already seen, I feel like if I had a direction of like, we want the ordinance to say this, or we want it to do this, I feel like I could get that done get those done in about a month. But if we're still also trying to figure out exactly what we're doing for part of that month, I don't know. That seems like a little bit too tight of a timeline.
In the memorandum that you provided for us back in March, it said the provisions concerning increased housing production, and then it states that it is staff's understanding that nothing in this section requires the town of Lapel to adopt any changes to its UDO, only that such changes be considered in a public hearing.
Mhm.
It will take some time for staff to audit the current UDO and research the above factors to develop a staff report for Plan Commission's consideration at this required public hearing. This provision becomes effective July 1st. So based on, your report that you prepared previously, we're specifically talking about the provisions surrounding the housing production.
Right.
So with that being said, it's going to take you a longer bit of time to gather all the things that need to fit in this for the exhibit, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the intention behind having a workshop or subcommittees or whatever way we
Right, yeah.
process this, because then it's not just me who's
All
going
eyes
to
on
be
deck.
through the
Everyone.
Yeah.
ordinance.
I
What
think
she's referring to is the December deadline. She's not talking, that's not the same thing I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. There's two different pieces.
Have to be.
Yeah, what you're reading is where they're talking about that they're requiring a public hearing to discuss
Mhm.
whether or not we're gonna reduce all these standards to.
Right.
What I'm talking about is the piece further down in his report where he talks about we may need, here, I wish I had it with me, where we may need to review the UDO around housing development
Mhm.
to make sure that it meets what we're
That
wanting.
we're covered.
Yeah.
And not just housing development, to be
Sure,
honest, but
But can we kind of, and I would say the good news here is a housing development's not gonna be here tomorrow.
No.
Right.
I mean, we're talking months and months of preparation for them to actually bring something to us. So, you know, if they bought that property now, it would be September, October before we heard them. Realistically, I mean, it takes 4 months to figure all that out, realistically. So I feel like we don't, now, obviously, we have to have if we want to say, well, okay, we want to adopt this stuff July 1st, we can still make changes after July 1st. We just have to have that town or the public hearing for anything that we basically want to change now, that's saying, hey, we're going to make it easy to build houses. Do we want to change that? But the UDO or our standards in general, we don't have to necessarily move right now.
right.
That can be down the road. That can be July, August. So I don't feel like we need to necessarily rush. I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels. I don't know, yeah.
If we make a change, let's just say that we vote on it and we make a change in August to our stuff. How long do we have to wait to implement that? What does a House bill actually say? Because it does say it in there, I just don't have a copy.
Yeah, so that waiting period on when a change can go into effect, I believe applied specifically to fee changes, to like application fee changes.
It just says fee may increase once every 5 years unless the cost of the town increases.
Did you bring the law?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So if we pass something here and it goes to council the next Thursday, that is now in our standards and like,
Yes.
okay.
So
Yeah.
there is a process, like once the ordinance has been adopted, there's like a requirement that it has to be like published and like, and so, but it's like effective once
Sure.
it's becomes published. There's not
Yeah.
a waiting period beyond that.
So my question is, since the council shot down that prior PUD on September 18th, if someone put in a request for another PUD from the same company and we don't have the correct outlines put into effect July 1, then we're required to accept that. Am I wrong?
Sorry, I was looking at something.
No, you're fine. Am I way off base here?
So they would not be able to resubmit that proposal until after September, or
Okay.
until September,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
until a year since they were denied.
Okay.
Because nothing can come in their name anymore.
And,
Yeah.
right, on that property.
On that property.
spot.
If they wanted to,
They could buy the
if
one
they
behind
had
the school.
another project
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
else,
they could
Yeah.
try a different area
and if somebody else had a different idea on that property, they would be allowed to file that application, but, that property doesn't have the same
Correct.
owner anymore, so.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't see really any danger of being forced into accepting a housing development in general, because we already have so many standards. Like, a housing development is gonna have to come in here and they're gonna say, okay, we accept every single one of your standards with no bearing on any of that for you to accept us. And that doesn't seem logical to me that a housing development would do that, because they have their bosses, they've gotta have a certain amount
Mhm.
here. So I don't see a housing development coming in here and saying, okay, with your PUD, we'll meet every single one of those things for you to guarantee our approval. Seems pretty outlandish. Is that accurate, or is it?
I mean, I think that's a pretty good read, and I also want to suggest something that might that might provide a pretty quick Band-Aid, particularly with regards to PUDs, because that's where things get kind of dicey, because a PUD can deviate a little bit from the base standards. If state law allows us to do so, it may be possible to add something into our PUD standards that simply say that, something about being able to, Plan Commission having the ability, or Plan Commission, Town Council having the ability to generally you're required to meet the standards of the base zoning district, but Plan Commission and Town Council might allow waivers or variances or whatever word we're going to use to describe it from the base zoning if they think that will better serve the intention, goals of the comprehensive plan, for example, something like that. And then that we wouldn't really maybe need to necessarily go in right now and look at all the standards, because that would cover it. That would mean if you were using the R2 zoning district and you want to reduce the minimum lot size for whatever reason, you would have to justify why you want to do that and how that advances the intent and goals of the base zoning district and the comprehensive plan, for example. And if you can't do that, or you can't do it convincingly, then Town Council, Plan Commission could say, well, you're not advancing this intent, try again.
Do we have anything else?
So are we deciding then that we're
I'll make a motion for a subcommittee for the new.
Technical. Do we have to pick a date?
Ordinance.
Like, do we have to pick a date right now for when we're gonna form it and when it's gonna meet? Or can we just say, we're making a motion to start one
Yeah.
and then we,
And
okay.
that way.
I'll second that, that's fine, yeah. Whatever the
I'm
motion
like
was.
I've gone through
Ordinance
so many
and,
places that are.
legislative
you
matters.
would say,
To go over House
the
Bill
housing 1001, 10-01.
I will make that motion to go for a subcommittee to go over the information in House Bill 1001.
And I'll second it, yeah.
Commission Member Baldwin,
Yes.
Commission Member Mace.
Yes.
Commission Member Pressler,
Yes.
Commission Member West,
Yes.
Commission Member Workman.
yes.
Okay, the next item is the code enforcement cases. I believe they were emailed to us.
I couldn't get mine open.
I couldn't
We will
either.
get permission from, I think, Evan received an email, so he's looking at everything and then he'll okay it for us to see it. That's what Teresa said when she was here earlier. So those will be coming, because we could not get in there, so you sent.
If push comes to shove, I think I have access to his email.
Okay, thank you.
Access to it.
Well, none of us could get into it, so,
Because it's a Google Doc, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
That's how it's structured. We could have something prepared for next meeting with
Yeah.
updates on each.
okay.
Is that something anybody sees any benefit to having every meeting, just to kind of be able
I
to
mean-
follow up on where we're at?
There's some places I believe that need to be looked at and
Yes.
dealt with, but
Yes.
I know we've said we wanted to sort of keep it on the down
Yeah,
low or, but I feel like also you have the community out there that comes to you and wanting something done and we're
Well-
just sort of,
And that's fine, because there's a form that they can come to town hall and fill out. And that they, of their complaint or their concern or their issue on a certain property. And then we take
but
that
that's been done
information.
several times and this one property is
Yes.
not having anything done.
Well,
The
there's
same
a-
property was supposed to come to every one of these meetings and give us an update on what is going on, and that has not happened for a long
I think
time.
that is in the
And now
process.
the siding's falling back off and rents are.
Right, Jenny, we are now,
Yeah.
yes, we are now
Come
having.
sit at my house and I'll show you across the street.
Yes, we have there's a new process in
Okay.
place
And
that would be going forward.
that was my question. I know in the past from being on that side of the table, Chad had mentioned in the past about creating a anonymous link or something to where things could you maybe bring that up at the next town
Yeah.
council meeting
Yeah.
to see where
Because
we
that'd be
Like an
easier. Some
anonymous
people can't get to the
reporting
town.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
get.
I can't get there. I can't get to the town
So-
hall until after hours,
So
so.
There is, I believe I kind of want to say there's something online, or,
It's just a form that whenever you click the link, it's just a form that you can print. But then, I mean,
You
there's
can't.
so many individuals that can't
What if
get
we
to
just mailed
town
it out to
hall.
every mailbox and see what comes back?
Oh,
Well-
you guys should have
See
fun.
what comes back.
Can I just ask, is there a reason, I'm just wondering, is there a reason this is like under lock and key?
No.
And I don't know either, because I would have voted against it, because I don't think it's
I
right.
agree, and
I wasn't here either.
here's why I say that, and I'm,
It
I'm
just
all
all of a-
for, I'm
it
all
just all
for
of a
not
sudden
doing what
happened.
we've always done, so if this is unpopular, I apologize. But code enforcement needs to be done
Thank you.
consistently, equally,
Yes.
without concern for who the person is.
Exactly.
If it's kept under lock and key and there is no accountability to keep it
Yes.
from being weaponized. So I feel like me personally, if there is not a good reason why it's under lock and key, then
We
it
need to
really
reverse it.
honestly, in my
I agree.
opinion, should be attached to the agenda.
Yep.
I agree. I
I
think
just,
it should be out there.
I personally don't, like, for instance, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because this is in my heart. I don't know your situation.
Mhm.
I don't know, and I'm just gonna say you because I know you. Your husband didn't just pass away and you've not cut your grass. I don't want your name and address coming up to next month's meeting because you didn't have your grass cut. I don't know what your business is. I don't know that your husband didn't just die and you're trying to remind
Right.
yourself to breathe every day. That's my concern about spewing people's personal and private information out there for God and everybody to see. That's my issue.
And I respect that too. However, in the retrospective of that comment, as far as like, do we have code enforcement going out every single week? Because last time I knew, the information I was given was that, yes, we do have a part-time code enforcement officer, but they're not going to drive around and address every single thing.
No, that is not correct. If there is a complaint filed, then there is a process. The form does get filled out. He writes out the form. Because he approves it, he says, because he has to approve that there is a problem, right?
Right.
Because I could just call and say, I don't really like the
No.
color of her house. Yeah, I don't like the color of this house. So it has to be upheld that there is actually an issue.
Well, right.
And then he does, then he
Yeah.
follows, then he goes out, he
Right.
checks it, he takes pictures, so there is a
But
process.
who's upholding
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Because I've been on that side as well, but I've been here many, many years, and all these houses, still not done with
Yeah,
them.
is there, so what's the process in between that? So when
Yes.
he goes out, identifies a problem, what happens after that?
Because
Then-
nothing's happening.
then I
online.
send out-
Yeah,
then-
I can speak to that a little bit more.
I know
What
we do fees,
I would
letters.
say my recommendation would be just how it's done generally, looking at other municipalities and whatnot, it's best practice. So a report comes in, the officer will go out, look at it, and if it is a violation, give them some sort of notice, typically a letter. And then that letter will, tell them, you're not in compliance, you're violating this specific code or this ordinance. This is, if you don't get it resolved in 30 days is a pretty standard time. I mean, it could be as low as 10 days, depends on what it is. Then this fine will be implemented, that amount of time lapses, next letter goes out. And at that point, it typically sent to legal. And I think at that point, if it's
Then
gone
it
that
comes onto
far,
an agenda.
it comes onto the agenda, and I,
Okay.
as the
Yes.
attorney who will be representing the town, can speak to
Okay.
each individual one at that
Okay,
point.
so that would be my, and I agree completely with what you're saying. I don't think, yes, can we put something in there that says, like a hazard? And not someone's lawn, not
Right,
chipping paint, not this,
right.
but can we have a standard where it's like, if we identify a property
Yep.
as a hazard, and it is, whether it is or not, and he goes out and he said, hey, this is a hazard, it's in the best interest of whoever owns it, if they're there, if they're not there, to then kind of move that along, rather than the kind of the little stuff that might, go kind of from what you're saying,
Yeah.
like someone's lawn becomes unkept.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried
Yeah.
about the house that's gonna
Yeah.
fall
I
on the
have,
other
and that's
house.
what I have. I
Exactly.
have one of those that we have dealt with for almost 15 years.
Mhm.
I've been on this for
Mhm.
almost 5 years. Nothing is still done with that house.
And while I agree with what you're saying from an empathetic standpoint, it's no secret, well, I agree, I'm not
Oh,
worried about
that's
this
your-
grass, that's all I'm talking about. It's no secret that their grass is tall. I mean, anyone
Right.
driving by
Yeah.
sees it. None of this stuff is a secret. If
Yeah.
it's bad enough to become a code enforcement issue, it's out in the open.
Mhm.
So really, you don't even have to attach somebody's name to it.
No,
Just identify it by address. My thing is more along the lines of, if we're spending the money to send a letter every week because somebody's not mowing their grass, that's problematic. You know what I'm saying? That's causing an expense. Okay, but then if their next door neighbor's doing the same thing and we're not addressing that because the person's so worried about their own grass or not complaining about their
Yeah,
neighbor,
yeah.
that's not fair.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, one of the things that we need to change in this town is the perception that who you are
Exactly.
determines how you're treated.
Exactly.
And that starts with accountability of being able to show that we're doing things fairly
For
across the
Across
everybody.
the board.
across the board, I
Yes.
agree.
It's my understanding that this is a complaint-driven
Yeah.
process. We don't have an officer full-time driving around up and down every
Correct.
street.
Right,
That's right.
So
yeah.
that's what I was
Yeah.
Well,
understanding.
we were always told for a long time, we had a code enforcement.
We used to have a code
Yes.
enforcement.
Yeah, and he did drive around.
Yeah,
his golf
And he
cart.
did drive around.
And,
He
and,
did.
and Dennis did tell me personally that he
Yeah.
was not going to do that.
Yeah,
So yes, it is a complaint-driven process.
but when
I
we have brought it
understand that.
even to the past, in my situation,
Mhm.
the past meetings, and nothing is still done, the house is falling, kids go in it, they're not supposed to, there's no floor in this anymore, this building,
But we have 3 houses like that, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 around town that are that.
and I know why, and mine is because of the name,
Well, yeah.
mine's because of the name.
Yes.
Right now.
So at this point, can we make a motion to reverse the way things are currently standing and, come up with a process of, like you just said, to follow other municipalities to put in place, set forth a standard of operating procedure? We go A, B, C, D, and then
That standard does exist.
Yes, what we used to do is get a spreadsheet and just look through it. We did not read the names, we just looked at it and
And we
seen
can start doing that.
what was going on, just so us as a group, because when you get someone coming to you, oh, I don't know, because I don't go up there and see them anymore. I'm not gonna sit here and read everything out loud, but it was nice to know to where I could say, we're taking care of that,
Yeah.
because I can't now.
We can absolutely provide that. I've never been asked for it
Yeah.
before.
No, well, we
No
were
need for a
told,
motion.
we had to come to the town hall and get it all the time.
Yeah, I understand it's not a complaint. I just.
No, it's not a complaint at
I
all.
cannot emphasize enough that if there's one thing that I'm about, it's accountability. And accountability starts with transparency. I don't want to shame or embarrass
No.
anyone.
no.
Yeah.
I just want everyone who does get a code enforcement complaint to know that they're being treated fairly.
Mhm.
That's it. That someone else who
Agreed.
got the same complaint
Agreed.
didn't get a
I
different
do
result.
agree.
May I also add, until recently, we didn't have a contract to take any of our actions to court.
Mhm.
That was remedied, was it 2
Right.
months
2
ago?
months ago,
Okay.
Started
yeah.
maybe not even.
And,
Yeah.
I have requested to have, I guess, a reorganization in the office, so I have more help to be able to do these things. I agree with you. We have things that are pending that need to move forward. So I'll provide the document, and then I'm happy to, take any feedback. And I would have provided earlier, I just was not aware the
Nope,
commission
you're
wanted to
fine.
see it.
And I'm sure I have old ones. I keep all mine. I'm sure hopefully they do. But it would help because
Yeah.
when people know you're on this committee,
I've
Right.
had,
on any of them,
I've
they
had several
want,
people
yes,
reach out.
hey, I was
Yeah.
walking and I smelled chickens. What can I do about that?
I mean, I was,
What? Okay, I don't know where we're,
Yeah.
yes, it's some wild stuff you get sometimes.
They
I
can
had
have
one-
it. It has a chicken break.
I had one yesterday of why are we allowing open burning in town? And it's been consistent. I mean, we're under drought conditions right now. And I mean, whenever you're actively allowing open burning in a drought condition, I mean, we've all experienced recently when the house caught on fire and our fire hydrants were down, that was an unfortunate event. So,
And we were under fire watch
Yes.
today, so,
yeah.
And
okay. So
I'm
we
not
have,
about like driving around and reporting everybody,
No.
honestly.
oh, no.
But what's fair is fair.
Yeah.
And what's right is right.
so we will now get a list, hopefully by the next meeting. If not, we will at least be able as a group to see what the code enforcement cases are and not
Yeah.
know. And the last thing on the agenda is the class that's being offered, the American Citizens Planner.
Yes.
I'm a proud graduate of
so
that.
I sent you all the
Are you?
flyer.
Yeah.
Basically, Purdue University offers this course, looks like 3 times a year. It is a online course that you can kind of work through at your own pace, though there are 2 live webinars that you are required to participate in. But outside of those webinars, you kind of proceed as you can. And I don't know, I've never taken the course, so I don't know what all their material
He does it all.
says,
He
but
does.
they say here in their flyer that it's designed for people who are serving on or would like to serve on plan commissions and boards of zoning appeals, to help them better understand what those bodies do, and then all of the state laws around what is and isn't allowed to be in your ordinances, in your making decisions for variances, all of that kind of stuff. So I came across this. I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention in case anybody was interested in taking it, because the registration for the summer session opens May 1st. So
And you stay on an email with him as well, and Dan will send you emails of updates all over the state and seminars
That's cool.
up the side, so you can always continue the education once you're done with this.
I know Amy took it and she said it was invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, anything that we can do to just up the education professionals is only gonna make a huge difference for our town. Like, this is probably one of the most important boards right now for
Yeah.
where our town's at in history.
I'm definitely interested in taking this for sure. My goal is to sign up by May 1st.
Yeah, I'm also gonna register for it.
Is there any funding available through?
Nope, you're on your,
Grants.
oh, is there now?
I will check.
Can I
If
get
there are
reimbursed?
funds-
I'll bring my
If
certificate.
there are, how much is the cost per cell?
Yeah.
If there are
What
funds
is-
available, I would.
that
like
is
to use
something I
them.
wanna bring up. Why are we not getting paid?
So grateful, yeah.
That is something I do wanna ask, and why are we not getting paid anymore? We used to get paid.
So that's a clerk issue.
That's above my pay grade too.
I will submit that question.
Yes, please submit, I mean, cause we haven't for the last 2 years, I wanna say, and it might even be,
I think it's in the ordinance. I think
it is,
It
we are
is.
supposed to be paid.
Okay, I could communicate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know. I did not know
Even
that.
the guys, Brandon and, Matt, they even expressed it last meeting.
Mhm.
Because we're just wondering, I mean, yeah, it's not a lot. Yes, we do get a lot if you want to help the community, but still,
Absolutely. I'll work on that.
thank you.
I'll ask Teresa.
And then, council, can you clarify, in order to be sitting on this board, do you have to be a town resident or?
Yeah, this board requires residency.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then,
I thought, is it this one or is it BZA? Because
I know BZA does too.
I think on one of the two, there's an allowance for
like an employee of the town.
an employee of the town, but also a person, as far as the citizen members go, a person who owns property in town and lives in the county still might be allowed.
Fair, okay. Let me get an update on that. I'll send an email out with an update to it, because I guess
No,
employees of the town definitely don't have to be residents, so because there are
Right.
employees of the town on here, I guess yeah, let me double check.
But I was just
Yeah.
curious at how that worked, and especially with the BZA and having some open positions on that board, like what's the recommendation for that specifically? Just to make sure we're following all the guidelines,
For the
both
BZ,
for planning and BZA.
it's like recommendations for,
Like whether or not
Let's see.
you have to be a resident, whether or not you have
Yeah, the eligibility
to.
requirements.
okay,
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry.
so I know Jenny and I have been working on a master document of all the committees, all boards, and everything.
Expiration dates. and-
Yeah, that will have the
Who appointed them.
requirements, who appointed, and it'll just be a master list to make it easier, so
Excellent.
it's something we're adding to it. BZA, I know you can't be on any other board since it's quasi judicial.
Right.
And
Except for this one.
Except for this one, yeah.
The one is-
I can't
the one
believe-
darn it.
Can't be off that one.
Would it
Kind of a
be a
requirement.
town
I
Yeah.
really want the park board.
BZA, I think also has party affiliation. Park Board also has party
Right.
affiliation. This one does not have party affiliation.
This one doesn't?
I thought it did.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was a big deal a
Oh,
couple years
yeah,
ago.
it was a big deal when I came.
It was a
years
huge
ago?
big deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
We just re-looked at all of them.
Oh.
Okay.
Imagine that.
I'm
So-
still libertarian, don't worry.
So would it be a ton of work to add a directory component to that report?
No.
Simply because like, I had to ask somebody for Matt's phone number, because I had to call Matt for something, I didn't know how to get a hold of him, I still don't know how to get a hold of Brandon, I have to keep bugging Teresa. So it would just be nice, like, if there was just like a
Directory.
directory of every board and like how to get a hold of the people and
Yeah,
They
we were
used to have
planning-
it on there.
department
It
heads,
used to be.
let's not update it, our
Yeah.
website's
Who
just,
does the website? Why is that? Is that?
it's
Teresa does it, doesn't
not regular.
Our website's in the process of being updated.
To
and
the,
We
yeah.
were getting ready to launch it, but then the state needed to switch vendors.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was delayed, but I
Okay.
hope by the end of the year, we have a shiny new website with useful information on it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, do we have anything else? I have a motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second
Second,
Our next meeting is.
is May 7th. I will just be getting back